Peace, everybody. Reaction Overlord. We back with another video. All right, man. So it's been a long time coming. I've been on a hiatus on this channel, but we back in action, and we're kicking off first. We're going to be reviewing Gladiator 2. Now, I checked this movie out with a strong anticipation because of the first film. Now, the first film with Russell Crowe, that was a banger. It was a classic. This movie took over 20 years to make. But Ridley Scott, he's over 80 years old and he still proves that he can still make a big movie. But although it was a big budget movie with more effects than the first movie, just because it's bigger, that don't necessarily mean that it's better. This movie, oh man, it was parts where Danny was falling asleep on the movie. And that didn't take place in the first movie. In the first movie, I was like 17, 18 years old or something like that when the first movie came out. And I wasn't really into those type of movies like that, those old like Roman Coliseum type movies. But that movie was like the first movie that really got me into those type of movies. And then you had movies like Troy and 300. The feel of it, the atmosphere, the contrast, just everything just felt like authentic. This movie right here, although times the feel of it did feel like old age, but it just messed it up with all the CGI, especially the part where they had the sharks inside the Coliseum and the boat and everything. I understand they was trying to make it bigger and better, but just fighting regular people with lions or tigers in the cage and everything, I thought it was good with Russell Crowe. I hate the simple fact that I kept comparing this movie to the first movie, but being as though they kept taking pieces from the first movie and adding to this movie, you got no choice but to compare it. And for like the first 30 to 40 minutes of the movie, you kind of didn't know which way the movie was going. And Denzel character, it's funny because before the movie started, before I actually seen the movie, when I seen the trailers of the movie, I said, I wonder if Denzel is going to be like Denzel in this movie. And I think I know what I mean. Denzel, don't get me wrong, he's a great actor, but Denzel always seemed to be Denzel in each and every movie that he played. And I thought that kind of would be bad for a movie like this. Like any other type of movie, it still works for him, but Denzel being Denzel in a movie that's supposed to be taking place thousands of years ago, I didn't think that was going to work. And it kind of didn't work. He just seemed like Denzel, like modernized Denzel, thrown back in time, living in ancient Rome. Like, it was crazy. Now, don't get me wrong, his character on the movie was crazy. He was shisty, he was scheming, he was doing everything he can to get in power, which he inevitably did in the end, but it was only short lived. And you had Lucius from the first movie, the little boy, all of a sudden now he's Russell Crowe's son when he wasn't his son in the first movie. It was just kind of, I don't know how they tried to play that off or whatever, but it was just weird to me. Then you had the Psycho twins. I don't know if Roman history had twin emperors at the same time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know, but shoot, I don't know if they actually had sharks inside coliseums. Like, how is that possible? Like, y'all like in the desert somewhere. Look, don't get me, don't get me trying to figure this stuff out. But the movie was kind of just, it was fast paced. There was no real development, which is crazy because it was 2.5 hours. But Paul Mescal, his character on the Lucius, I thought he was good, but he still wasn't no Russell Crowe. And then you had Pedro Pascal on the movie. At first, in the beginning, they had you believing that he was like a bad guy, the villain, because you was only seeing him through Paul Mescal's eyes. But then, as the movie went on, you got to see how the way he was talking and how he felt about Rome and everything. And then the big thing at the end, you seen that he really was a good guy, and you kind of felt bad for kind of what happened after that. But I just thought it was crazy, but they did have people from the first movie in this movie. Like they had Connie Nielsen. She returned as Lucilla, as Lucia's mother. So that was kind of cool and everything. They kept having the flashbacks. But as far as the thrill, the excitement, it just wasn't really there. Now the movie was okay. Don't get me wrong. It was all right, especially towards the end. I think the end is what really saved it because like the first hour and a half, it was just kind of just whack. And they in the first movie they took their time to get to Rome, to the Colosseum. This movie it was like the first 15 minutes. Now you're in Rome. So I don't know, man. It was just kind of crazy. But I think this is what happens when you take so long to make a sequel to a movie, and I think Hollywood has been like messing that part up for a while because they always trying to make a sequel or something to a movie, but they take decades to do it. Kind of like Coming to America, you take over basically almost 40 years to make a sequel, and that movie was trash. And this movie wasn't really trash, but compared to the first movie, it was trash.
He ain't lying.
But I ain't really gonna knock it because it's Ridley Scott, and I'm a fan of Ridley Scott and his movies and everything. Like I said, like parts of it was okay, but if we gonna compare it to the first, you can't hold a candle to it. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think. Drop y'all comments down below. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.